Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News, our top stories tonight. Tanzania remains strategic in the Great Lakes region.
Particularly with respect to trade logistics.
Finally, at home, 206 Tanzanians evacuated from Sudan arrive.
That we should not mess up with the peace.
Good evening. I am Nasa Kingu. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter pages, all at TBC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says Tanzania will continue to strengthen economic ties with Rwanda and improve the Dar es Salaam and Tanga ports to boost even further trade between the two countries. She made the remarks during a joint press conference with the visiting president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, at the State House in Dar es Salaam, insisting peace and security to be key for any economic development in the Great Lakes region.
Haja ya kukuza biashara na kuweka miundombinu ya kukuza biashara kwa sababu kiwango cha biashara tulicho nacho.
We have seen the need to promote business and set up infrastructure because the level of business we have is not compatible with the resources we have for the two countries and the existing relationship. I have informed the President that in promoting business in Tanzania, we are working to strengthen the ports, especially the ports of Dar es Salaam and Tanga, of which Rwanda are its great users. Also, we have talked about how to strengthen other means of communication so that Tanzania can provide services effectively in Rwanda and other neighboring countries.
Ili Tanzania iweze kutoa huduma kwa ufanisi kule Rwanda na nchi nyingine zinazotuzunguka.
On his side, the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, has assured his country's commitment to strengthen economic ties with Tanzania, reiterating on Tanzania's crucial and strategic position in facilitating logistics and connectivity in the region.
We are committed to building on our strong economic, political, cultural, and historical ties. Rwanda and Tanzania's bonds of friendship and cooperation are deeply rooted in a common aspiration to improve the lives of our citizens. Africa's entrepreneurial youth give us a comparative advantage, but we have to create an enabling environment for them. That is why we are here. Tanzania is a very key partner for Rwanda, particularly with respect to trade, logistics, and connectivity.
He has further commended Tanzania for its efforts in ensuring peace and stability in the region, especially in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. This is the first official visit for President Kagame to Tanzania during Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan's leadership. 206 Tanzanians from Sudan have finally arrived in Tanzania as part of the government's efforts to evacuate Tanzanian citizens from the fierce fighting between Sudanese government forces and the paramilitary group called Rapid Support Group RSF. Lulu Mohammed reports.
Behind me are the parents and relatives who are waiting to receive their loved ones who are living in Sudan. But due to the war that arose in Sudan, the government had to return them in the country. Speaking to journalists after receiving the group, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Dr. Stergomena Tax, has urged Tanzanians who live in foreign countries to register themselves in Tanzanian embassies so as the information could be saved in the respective embassies' database.
I call on all Tanzanians wherever they are outside the country to ensure that they go to our embassies to introduce themselves so that they can be recognized. When problems like this occur, it becomes easier for our ambassadors to reach the Tanzanians who are there, and that also became a challenge to reach and find all the Tanzanians. At least there have been many students, but you find in other countries people are scattered in different areas, so it is important for them to introduce themselves at our embassies.
Meanwhile, the ambassador of Tanzania to Sudan, Silima Haj, thanks the government for its tireless support during the evacuation process.
And this we get the message that we should not mess up with the peace. The peace and the stability is very basic foundation of human life. We should not mess up. We should not play around this, because where there's no peace, there's nothing. There's no life, no development. Nothing can be achieved.
On their arrival, some students study in Sudan, and their parents who came to receive them say despite the horrific situation that has been ongoing in Sudan, the government and the Tanzanian embassy has made it possible to escape the tragedy.
The trip was nice, alhamdulillah, and we just received the information through our embassy in Sudan. And the trip and the whole evacuation process was organized by the embassy of Tanzania and Sudan. The trip was a bit challenging, but there was no way out. It was just the matter of persevering in case of any challenge in the stuff.
The trip was so hard. We take almost 4 days. And from Sudan to the border, Ethiopia, and from Ethiopia to the small airports there in Gondar, and from Gondar to the Addis Ababa.
Fortunately, throughout the time, we have been speaking. So we received a call from her on how she's doing and the studies, and she was the one who was updating us on the situation on the ground most of the times.
The fighting between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, started on the 15th of April this year. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Lulua Mohammed, TBC News.
What a moment there for the Tanzanians who were stuck in the conflict-hit Sudan. Thank you very much, Lulua Mohammed, for that report. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Investment, Industry and Trade, Dr. Hashil Abdallah, says Tanzania and Malawi have agreed to promote trade and investment relations by improving the business and investment environment between the two countries. He made the remarks in Malawi during the opening of the Trade and Investment Conference between Tanzania and Malawi that has brought together more than 300 businesses and investors from both countries to discuss the challenges they face. The Tanzanian Permanent Secretary welcomes investors and business community from Malawi to invest in Tanzania in the sectors of agriculture, fishing, the blue economy, tourism, financial services, and transport.
We are all aware our two countries traded through borders. Therefore, cross-border trade is very important to our economies and our people, since it contributes a lot to the employment, government revenues, and also improving quality of goods and services to our people.
And the Minister of Trade and Industry of Malawi, Simplex Banda, says Malawi is ready to strengthen commercial and investment relations with these countries, while the former ambassador of Tanzania to Malawi, Humphrey Polepole, urges Tanzanians to be creative and cooperate with Malawian business community to use business and investment opportunities available in Malawi, which is one of the landlocked countries. In 2022, the trade volume between Tanzania and Malawi reached $86.7 million. Research conducted by the Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation through the EAC Wembere Oil and Natural Gas Exploration Project reveals possible availability of oil in Meatu district in Simiyu region and other 5 regions in the country through which the EAC Lake Basin passes. Here is a report prepared by Pascal Michael, read by Apasia Ringo.
The Oil Exploration Project Manager, Eyasi Wembere Cindy Maduhu, clarifying to the members of the Regional Defense and Security Committee led by the Samiyu Regional Commissioner, Dr. Yahaya Nawanda, regarding geophysical research to identify the areas of drilling deep wells for oil and natural gas search.
We expect to take a line of about 260 kilometers in the entire area, and after that we will come with information concerning the nature of the rock and how we will get information about oil indicators in the area. The technology and location are all available along with the government of United Republic of Tanzania through its President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has continued to support this work. Approximately 1,136 samples have been taken and sent to laboratory in the United States to be processed and finally to check if there is sign of oil.
On the other hand, Eyasi Wembere's project relations manager, Mary Mselemu, expresses her optimism in the exploration. Tanzania is counting on getting fuel. The geography that Uganda, Kenya, and Sudan used to discover oil is the same that Tanzania through TPDC will use. Along with providing updates on the progress, we are preparing our citizens for opportunities that will come with this project. The Samiyu Regional Commissioner, Dr. Yahaya Nawanda, promises to cooperate with TPDC in the exploration exercise.
I assure my citizens of Samiyu to do our best. We should involve God so that this matter can be completed on time and bring benefit to us. Let us create a good plan where the people of Samiyu, Manyara, Tabora, and Singida will benefit from this.
The regions that will benefit from the oil and natural gas exploration are Samiyu, Singida, Shinyanga, Arusha, Tabora, and Manyara.
What an encouraging news there for the Samiyu residents and Tanzania in general. The Tanzania Bakers Association, TBA, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Embassy of the Netherlands in Tanzania to help the bakers in the country get training on the value chain of bakery products, which will help their products compete in the international markets. Signing the agreement in Dar es Salaam, the chairperson of the association, Francisca Limo, says the MOU will support Tanzanian producers to be competitive in the international markets.
It will be contributing a lot of development through our industry. The Tanzania Bakers Association and PAM Netherlands share a common goal of promotes in baking on the baking industry, and this MOU will enable them to work together towards the achieve our goals. I'm confident that the MOU will lead many of fruits collaboration on innovation, improve of our products and the safety of our products.
At this juncture, it is paramount important to know the following. TanTrade has been supporting Tanzania Bakers Association in many areas, including giving discounted rates during Dar es Salaam trade fair to showcase their products. But also TanTrade has been giving TBA technical support to conduct business forum during the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair events.
On his part, the ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Tanzania, Wib de Boer, says that his country will continue to cooperate with Tanzania to ensure that Tanzanian entrepreneurs continue to produce quality products.
Embassy, we also like to see and we also like to help, especially women and youth entrepreneurs. And this project and this cooperation, this program that you are having here now, is also proof of real and tangible changes and possibilities for the individual entrepreneur.
From business sector now, we move to agricultural sector. The Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and the government of Tanzania have signed a loan agreement worth 172.2 billion Tanzanian shillings, which will be directed to the implementation of agricultural input support project, as well as a grant agreement of 2.6 billion shillings for the revival of the Tanzania fisheries company Tafico. Rehema Sababili reports.
Speaking after signing the agreement, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Dr. Nato Mwamba, says the Agricultural Input Support Project will improve the production and productivity of priority crops, which are rice, wheat, and sunflower.
By scaling up the delivery of highly qualified inputs of seeds and fertilizers to smallholder farmers in the target areas, thereby contributing to strengthening the resilience of food system and enhancing the food security and nutrition.
She also added that the 2.6 billion grants will be provided to cover a gap for the implementation of economic and social development project through the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries.
The grant funds will add to Japanese yen 200 million grant equivalent to Tanzanian shillings 3.5 billion, which were committed by the government of Japan through the exchange of notes signed on 27th December 2019.
On his part, the JICA representative says the Japanese government will continue to cooperate with Tanzania in ensuring that Tanzania implements various development projects through its funding.
We have also achieved remarkable output in farmers' income increase, improvement of rice production, rice productivities in target areas. On the other hand, there are still a number of challenges in the national level.
The supported project is in line with the 5-year development plan with the theme of realizing competitiveness and industrialization for sustainable development. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sababili, TBC News.
From the commercial city of Dar es Salaam, now we go to Morogoro region. The Sokoine University of Agriculture, SUA, in Morogoro region, has applauded the government and the Ministry of Education for providing more than 70 billion Tanzanian shillings to fund the Higher Education for Economic Change Transformation project in the university. Speaking to lecturers of the university, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Raphael Chibunda, says that it is the first time in the history of the university the government has provided the university with such large sum of funds in a period of 5 years. Here's a report by Remy Asinti, read by Faidan Gaga.
In order to ensure that the Higher Education for Economic Change project funds produce the intended results, the Sokoine University of Agriculture in Morogoro region has begun to make improvements to the teaching curriculum so that it can be in line with the current advancements in science and technology.
This is the most important area of all. This is because the university has constructed good buildings. It also sent our teachers and other staff members to study abroad in the best universities. However, if what we teach our students is not relevant, then that would mean that we have misused our resources.
Here, Professor Chibuda appeals to all heads of departments of the university to be prepared for the new curriculum.
The making of the curriculums should closely engage the respective departments.
Dr. Jamal Athumani, who is the chairman of the SUA Curriculum Coordination Committee, explains the importance of implementing the exercise on time.
We need curriculums that are relevant to the modern world, ethical also curriculums that produce students that have work skills, and lastly, curriculum that are recognized internationally.
Some of the lecturers gave their views on the importance of improving the curriculum on time.
We expect to witness changes amongst our students because of how we have been training our students so that we can produce Tanzanians that can be of service to the nation.
lakini pia kufanya mapitio.
We have been analyzing the curriculums that we have been using, and we have added things that are of importance currently.
Kwa wanafunzi wetu ambao wanahitajika kuvipata.
And that item concludes the local news tonight. All the latest in international news up next. And here is international news compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read by Esero Mafuru.
Kenyan police have arrested a popular televangelist and closed his church in the coast as investigations continue into the religious cult that have been linked to the death of near 100 people. Pastor Ezekiel Odero, who is famed for drawing huge crowds at his functions, was arrested on Thursday, hours after the police inspected a funeral home near his new Life International Church in Mavueni, Kilifi County. The Coastal Region Police Commissioner Rhoda Onyancha said they had established that morgue attendants have been collecting bodies at the church premises. The preacher has not responded to the allegations. Police are also investigating his alleged relationship to a Catholic controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie, who is said to have told the foreigners to starve themselves in order to meet Jesus. Kenyan authorities have already recovered 95 bodies of people suspected to have died of starvation and buried in shallow graves at a forest near his church in the coast. The preacher, who is in custody, has denied wrongdoing. The World Health Organization WHO said that COVID-19 death has dropped by 95% in the start of the year 2023. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has said the virus is still on the move in countries without rain on out to manage its ongoing non-emergency effects, including the post-COVID-19 condition. He added that the emergence of the new XBB.1.16 variant illustrates that the virus is still changing and is still capable of causing new waves of diseases and death. The WHO chief said all countries will need training to manage it alongside other infectious diseases. Tedros added that an estimated 1 in 10 infections resulted in long COVID, suggesting that hundreds of million people would need longer-term care. He said, however, the WHO remained the hope that it would be able to declare an end to COVID-19 as a public health emergency of international concern when its advisory committee convenes next month. In the Sudanese army, has pounded the paramilitary fighters with the airstrikes in the capital Khartoum, where deadly fighting has spread in Darfur as the ceasefire that has slowed the street battles is set to expire. Columns of smoke rose on Thursday near the presidential palace in Khartoum and areas north of the capital as aircraft flew sorties. The paramilitary rapid support forces RSF said the Sudanese armed forces bombed its camp in the Kafori district with warplanes. The army said it agreed to talks in Juba, capital city of South Sudan, on extending the truce, which expires late on Thursday. The talks have been proposed by a bloc of East African countries, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. There have been multiple truce efforts since fighting broke out on April 15 this year between Sudanese regular army led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the RSF commanded by his deputy turned rival Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo.
That was international news as compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read by Esero Mafuru. Thank you very much. And now, up next is Sports News. And here is Sports News with Mario Cheto.
Tanzania Film Board Secretary Kiago Kilonzo says the visit of Busan Foundation for International Cooperation delegation from South Korea to Tanzania will accelerate the construction of a film education college for the betterment of film industry in Tanzania. He was speaking after the educational visit to the Institution of Arts and Culture Bagamoyo Tasuba, accompanied by the South Korea delegation. On her side, head of the Southern Korea Busan Foundation for International Cooperation delegation, Dr. Kian Simeon, says they have been impressed by the film students in Tasuba and they are ready to provide expertise to Tanzania.
We believe that the young filmmakers need an opportunity to be trained to produce the good quality of films for the citizens of Tanzania, and maybe later they can have a chance to go abroad.
Tanzania and South Korea have already signed